church, which will be held at 4 o'clock p.m. Typically, it's at 9 o'clock, but it'll be held at 4 o'clock p.m. today. So, without any further ado, let's begin today's service. Hi. Prayer of sincere Toritsugi. I am a Konko Kyo believer. I believe in Ikigami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kane no Kami. I have come today to practice my faith, appreciate and acknowledge the blessings, favors, and interventions of Tenchi Kane no Kami, honor the ancestors, and learn more about the faith of Konko Daijin. As I learn more about the heart of Tenchi Kane no Kami, I nurture the faith of my spiritual family. Thus, I boldly confess that my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, and it will never be the same, as long as I practice the faith and receive Toritsugi. Kigami Konko Daijin sama, Tenchi Kane no Kami sama. Thank you. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Amatsu no rito. Hakama no hara ni kamuzumarimasu. Kamuro ni kamuro mi no mikoto mochite sume mi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto tsukushi no hyuga no tachibana no odon no wa uwagi hara ni misogi hara ni tamau toki ni aremaseru harai do no okami tachimoro moro no maga goto tsumi kegare o harai amai kiyome tamae to osu koto no yoshi o amatsu kami kun ni tsukami ya o yorozu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no fuchikoma no mimi furi tatete kikoshimese to kashikomi mo mosu. Please open your prayer books to page 2 for the Purification Prayer. Through the way of mediation, may our sincere apologies be acceptable to you, our divine parent. We acknowledge our mistakes and misunderstandings, arrogance and ignorance of your divine favor. We apologize for all our shortcomings and the irreverences from past generations. Guide us to amend our way of living, to reflect your divine will, the pure, joyful, and loving heart, always one with you. 一度受け入れ、please bow your heads in prayer. 慎みて、木神金光大臣の御前に間を割く。今より、令和4年の最後の御祭り、年越しを払い感謝祭、極月の月霊祭取り行わんとす。教祖金光大臣をはじめ、歴代金光様、金光教大阪教会、一広教会、玉水屋教会、和平教会、各教会、主会教会長、歴代教会長の御徳をすがり申し、今日の御祭を使え祭らんとす。我らが行わん礼儀曲5日に、心が見祭る信奉者もろもろ、おのものも身を正し、心新たに戦かしめたまえと、パン取り次恋ネギ垂れ祭りて、かしこみもまおす。Yami Konko Daijin, I seek your Toritsugi for today's service. Today, we conduct the very last service for 2022. The end of year purification and pure appreciation ceremony, as well as the December monthly memorial service. As someone without virtue, I seek to receive and claim to the virtue of Konko Daijin, the succeeding Konko Samas, as well as the founding and past head ministers of the Konko churches of Osaka, Michihiro, Tamamizu, and Wahiawa for today's service. Today, the believers and I come together with our hearts by time flows without cease, years pass without end. In heaven and earth is a life that nurtures all. In heaven and earth is a truth that orders all. For this wondrous form, for these wondrous works, let us praise Tenchi Kane no Kami. Let us praise the divine parent of the universe. Kami loves and cares for all humanity, all those who live between heaven and earth. Revere Kami as divine parent, live in Kami's infinite blessings. This is the way. Yet many, not knowing the way, are lost in greed and selfishness. They suffer the cycle of misfortunes. Great is Kami's sorrow. Our founding father, Konko Daijin, suffered many trials in this world, but held fast to faith and sincerity. He received Kami's great blessing and began the life of mutual fulfillment of Kami and humanity. Humbly we pray. The divine parent's great wish was thus fulfilled. Konko Daijin accepted the call to mediation that leads to the mutual benefit of Kami and humanity. By day, he taught the way of faith to all who sought him, expounding the blessings of heaven and earth. And he knew not the coming of night. By night, he prayed for those who grieved, seeking salvation for all who suffered. And he knew not the dawning of day. Though years passed and the world changed, he did not waver from his task, the divine task of mediation. Thus was given the sacred Tenchi Kane, the guiding principle for our daily life. The divine favor was thus renewed, and blessings flowed universally, establishing the way of eternal prosperity, the way of mediation of Ikigami Konko Daijin. By this wondrous revelation, we are given knowledge of the way, through all the hardships of this world, through pain of body and soul. The way of mediation teaches us to turn our hearts to Kami. Without regard Okay, please bow your heads in prayer. 天幕も賢き、天地可燃の神の大広前、ひがみ金光大事の前に、金光共産英語協会長、しこみも魔を咲く、天地の恵みことしなえに、時の流れ、定みなく、今年、令和4年という年も、今日も限りとくれゆかんとす。This morning, here at the Congo Church of San Diego, on behalf of your beloved children, we have joined in one heart to share our love, sincerity, and appreciation to you, the blessings, favors, and interventions we receive every single day throughout 2022 for today's end-of-year purification and appreciation service. We take this time to act that hurt another person intentionally or unintentionally. We pray that you will purge us of our negativities and meguri. We apologize and ask for your forgiveness for the meguri of our ancestors. You taught us that it is through our faith, our relationship with you, our devoutness, and the living of our faith that not only our ancestors' meguri, but also the meguri that we have accumulated will melt away. Thus, through this opportunity and in this now, we commit ourselves to becoming better people who are sincerely a reflection of your heart and love. In this time of purification and healing, we pray that as we end this year, we pledge to reform ourselves. We pledge to strengthen our relationship with you. We pledge to care for this church established by Reverend Norikazu Yukawa. And although the church is housed in the home of the Spees, Ohana, we will respect the Hiromai as an extension of the headquarters Hiromai. And with you and Reverend Yukawa, Mr. and Mrs. Spees, Mrs. Davis, Dr. Miyai, Bando Sensei, Stephanie Tashiro, Joanne Isako Sonoda, Mr. and Mrs. Clemming, and all those who have gone before us, the San Diego Church will rise like the phoenix. However, we thank you very much for the blessings, favors, interventions, and protections we have been showered upon. That is being showered upon each of the Ujiko of the San Diego Church, North San Diego County Gathering, Chula Vista Kosha, San Diego County, the states of Arizona, Hawaii, Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas, as well as Estados Unidos Mexicanos. We continue to receive okage, especially in these recent times, in regards to our jobs, health, and the greatest okage of all, life. Thank you for our sight, hearing, senses, and the ability to be free. Thank you for leading us to this beautiful faith that started with the faith of Koukou Daijin, the source of teachings. We offer our Empress. Where there is love, where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, let us offer forgiveness. Where there is discord, let us build peace. As this year comes to an end, we take this opportunity to reflect on this long and trying year for many of us. It is the third Konko-sama who taught us nan wa mikage, or hardship is Kami's favor. Help us to reflect on the hardship of this year, as well as the tears that we may have shed. It is our prayer that these tears will become the seeds for our faith, joy, health, and prosperity for the new year. As we enter into a new year tomorrow, please allow the San Diego Church to continue to give birth to true believers who continuously acknowledges and appreciates your blessings and receives okage, toku, shintoku, and nintoku, as well as lives an abundant life. Please continue supporting us to be a church that will spread the word, heal the wounded, pray for communities, and create bridges to the communities that we serve. We ask for your guidance, that we have a new church property, and ask that you take the lead with Yuawa Sensei's spirit in rebuilding the church. The late Reverend Norikazu Yukawa established this church will not be dependent upon others. We, the San Diego Church Ohana, will cling to you and trust in you to rebuild your church. 極み金光大事後に広前の神比例を身にも家にもいただき立て祭りて神徳の中に生かされて生きる今日の命を大切に教養社会生活の上に家庭生活の上に誠の信心を進め神恵みに生かされる喜びにもあら指導ともに入れ 4 sincere claps along with a head officiant. 一度受け入れ、今しもこれの広前に毎期を拝める信奉者、男を皆もろもろ気を示せと仰す。我が方や神の目でのうちことある。まし信奉者もろもろが、身にも心にも、ゆくりなくも、過ちをかしけん、罪汚れのあらんおば、年々のお払いに残る罪は、恥と払いたまい清めたもうことを、もろもろと示せと仰す。This morning, you, those who believe, who are here in person or online, you, the precious children of Kami, who love our beloved Tenchi Kane no Kami, through this great purification and through your efforts in faith, today we rid ourselves in body, spirit, and mind of the known and unknown, seen, unseen, and unforeseen indiscretions, offenses, sins, maliciousness, negativity, hatred, anger, and impurities that have become a part of ourselves. With each wave, we purify and cleanse ourselves as we are reborn and given a new opportunity in our faith life in preparation for the new year. For we are blessed, for we are favored, for we are abundant in the richnesses of faith and blessings, as well as in the physical, material, and in mind. Please open your prayer books to page 29, Tarshin Tokusanji. Aoi matsureba 指導入れ、4。のぶも懐かしきうまし、満ちてるみ柱牛はや。和歌の浦和の清き深きみ心持ちで、神をい甘い道を尊び、何は縁の広き遠き身思い持ちで、世は我に人を救いて、道の御光をあんまかがし、教えの恵みを国から。Be remembered eternally. Your lives. 一度敬礼、please bow your heads in prayer. まくも尊き、教祖根高大臣が生まれ、育てくだされ。We honor and appreciate the parents who gave birth and raised the source of teachings, 根高大臣。神取十平の御霊の神。神取下姫の御霊の神。川手久米次郎の御霊の神。川手岩の御霊の神。神取家、川手家、西本家、深沢家、厚く御礼申し上げたてます。仰がれたももあなとうと、聞いても神、死にても神と称えられたまいし、本校教大阪教会初代、白神や広間道分けの御事の御霊の神、未来教会長白神道よきいや高根の君の御霊の神、本校教道広教会初代、稲垣貞七三牛豊木牛の御霊の神、ありがとう。霊の霊殿に御心うらしく静まります。本校教サンフランシスコ教会三大教会長松井文雄牛の御霊の神、三大教会長藤松井文子姫の御霊の神、本校教玉水教会初代湯川安太郎三牛道照見柱牛の御霊の神、初代夫人湯川秀興たらし道照姫の御霊の神、大教会長湯川茂姫牛の御霊の神、大教会長夫人湯川文雄姫の御霊の神、三大教会長湯川康夫牛の御霊の神、三大教会長夫人湯川真理子姫の御霊の神、本校教銀座教会初代湯川誠一牛の御霊の神、初代夫人湯川津屋姫の御霊の神、二大教会長湯川信直牛の御霊の神、大教会長夫人湯川千代姫の御霊の神、ありがとう。三礼後の広き遠き身を思い持ちて、道を見光を天かがし教えんの五億にかがし、の神、高橋春子マルグレ姫の御霊の神、久能正一牛の御霊の神、石松梅子姫の御霊の神、清水幸喜彦の御霊の神、大場family、デルウェイファミリー、高見家、秋野家、小田家、メイファミリー、田中清信の家の御霊の神、田中義雄の家の御霊の神、 宮本喜八の家の御霊の神、大本家、塩家、坂東光弘の家の御霊の神、谷口小波の家の御霊の神、ラスタキスファミリー、河野家、飯森家、カルフンファミリー、地元家、同和子の家の御霊の神、森家、クエルチャーファミリー、クレミングファミリー、ヘックファミリー、ホースマンファミリー、アイゼックファミリー、浜川家、モリスファミリー、オーラーファミリー、サハラ家、坂田家、ズーモルファミリー、リドルズバーガーファミリー、エヴァンズファミリー、川崎家、ホリンズワーファミリー、瀬川ファミリー、浦田ファミリー、ブラウンファミリー、テプナッパファミリー、ジョーファミリー、松井家、松野家、ガアンファミリー、福田家、岡崎家、ロペーズファミリー、ゴームズファミリー、ハンフェルファミリー、菅原家、大塚家、ギルモアファミリー、高橋家、長川家、宮本家、岩下家、青野家、山城家、森里家、羽生家、森本家、小垣家、ビーロファミリー、ミーファミリー、アッンファミリー、ワン家の東通親、ヨヨの親、からやからもろもろの御霊の神たちに厚婚礼申し上げます。ありがとうございます。三霊語教会に関係にあるもろもろの家の先祖代々の御霊の神、ゆえんもえんもろもろの御霊の神様に厚婚礼申し上げたてまつります。On behalf of the Ujiko, the San Diego Church, North County San Diego Gathering, San Diego County, Estados Unidos Mexicanos, the states of Arizona, Colorado, Hawaii, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas, I offer the following prayer. This morning we take this opportunity to remember and honor the following Mitama who passed away in the month of December. 二代金光様、金光詩人津行の君の御霊の神、The second 金光様、詩人金光。教祖様四男、金光大臣、金光大臣、王子立分の御事の御霊の神、金光大臣 fourth son、萩尾金光。金光教サンフランシスコ教会初代、福田義明君の御霊の神、San Francisco Church Founding Minister, Reverend 義明福田。金光教和平教会初代、高橋春子マーガレット姫の御霊の神、和平 Church Founding Minister, Reverend 春子マーガレット高橋、Nancy Ann Meek Nay Byers の御霊の神、Edward 秋典松井の御霊の神、William H. Meek の御霊の神、ハブトラWaiwa Church Founding Minister Reverend Haruko Margaret Takahashi, 50 years. William H. Meek no Mitama no Kami, 90 years. Francis Lorraine Clemmings no Mitama no Kami, 5 years. To all the Mitama called upon this morning, we thank you very much for your many years of watching over, guiding, and protecting us every single day. Thank you for embracing us daily with your love and warmth. We know that there are times you watch us and wonder, what are you doing? I do not doubt that you ask Kami-sama, are they for real? And even come close to pinching our bottoms. But instead, you shower us with your love, patience, and protection. We ask that you please continue to embrace and spoil us with your love, understanding, and virtue. We implore you to help and support us in never giving up in regards to the challenges of life. Guide us to turn our hearts to and trust in Kami. Please guide our descendants to the church to learn more about our teachings of love and humanity. We pray for all Mitama to find peace and healing, and that you please return to Kami-sama's bosom of love, grace, and virtue. Receive Ikigami Konko Daijin's Toritsugi. Practice true faith with your descendants, and open your hearts to Kami's love, truth, true okage, and virtue. We pray that all Mitama will walk together joyfully and in appreciation with their descendants in faith. As this prayer comes to an end, we ask that all Mitama honored this month, as well as all the families of the Mitama called forth, would you please receive our prayers and hearts. Me ke aloha po mehana. Mahalo. Chido tomoni haire, 4 sincere claps along with the head officiant. Please open your prayer books to page 36 for Sosen Sanji. Yoyon no oya wa 我が家の神我が神と心尽くしていつきまつらんな心尽くしていつきまつらんな尊きみおやの神たちよ海の子のために家の柱を沈め立てたまい初子のために世のなりは日を守り助けたまい隔離世の見えぬ境にましませども見尽くしみの御心は映しよに変わらせたまわず先見たまのまさきく先は言えたまいくしみたまのくしみに恵みたまいて志は脇の柱の動きなくなりは火は結ぶつなめのゆるりなく真心清らに励みつとめしめたまいうからやからやわらぎやいて日にけにうらやすく 楽しましめたまい、ついに移し世のことを得て、神の御門に参らん。時には必ずしも迎え取りたまい、見尽くしみよ。こむらしめたまわんものと、神の実りの絶えなるを、かしこみかたじけなみ、いおやの恵みのおぼろげならぬを嬉しみ、喜び申すことを見心も涼やかに聞こしめしたまえと申す。花自動拝礼 for sincere claps。あらすきかけて祈らなよ世の親。親の御親の神の支配を。たまだすきかけて祈らなよ世の親。親の御親の神の支配を。自動拝礼 for sincere claps。自動拝礼 for sincere claps。Please open your prayer books to page 6 for recitation of the Tenchi Kane. 日神金光大臣天地金の神一心に願え、影は我が心にあり、今月今日で頼め。 Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within hearts grateful and caring, in harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. This very day, pray. Oración de Tenchi Kane. A través de Ikigami Konko Daijin, Orea Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. A través de Ikigami Konko Daijin, Orea Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. Ore ahora en este momento. Ore ahora en este momento. Chido haire 4 sincere claps. Good morning and congratulations again for being here either in person or online and joining us today. Hi Dale, hi Mark, nice to see all of you today. I'm glad you could join us. Today is the end of the year service, and one of the things I've been asking whether, and I know during our Kyoko Rosha Hotokusai, I asked you to think about this. If you're there for the Otsuitachi Onre Go Kinenkai, the service that's on the first of the month, or if you were at the Chilorista Kosha's monthly service, I brought this up. I constantly share this and asked you to do this. You have one last day to do this, and which is today, which really is to reflect on yourself, reflect on you. And it's not a bad thing to reflect on ourselves. And I think one of the biggest reasons for me, I love the idea of this concept of purification and appreciation. In preparation for today's sermon, I did a little bit of research, a little bit of digging, and a little bit of understanding that this purification, part of this purification is reflection. What are parts of ourselves that isn't working for us? What are parts that are not helping us to become closer to Kami-sama? What are parts of ourselves that are interrupting with relationships? What's parts of ourselves that are hurting? What are we doing to hurt ourselves? This process of reflection is what I've asked you to please continue to do for this entire month. Because you have one more day where we get to think about and we have resolutions, or we're constantly hearing about New Year's resolutions, not New Year's resolutions. What is something we can do to take that next step forward to bettering ourselves? In June, when we did the half-year purification appreciation service, I really did take that very, very seriously. And I told myself, this coming school year, I know that the past school year was very rough. It was one of the hardest school years I have ever gone through. And I told myself, as part of my own practice and reflection, I said, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm putting everything else first. And, granted, my parents love me. My parents are praying for me. But I have to take care of myself, because no one else is going to take care of me. No one else is going to help me. And how can I do this and also become closer to Kami-sama? So I said, for this next school year, I need to care for me. I need to begin that process of caring for me. And I did. And I'm so proud of myself. There are times that, I faltered, and I came back. I faltered and I came back. And I think that's the most important thing, that we fall down but we stand right back up. We may fall down, we stand right back up. One of the greatest blessings that I'm so grateful for is that this year we started the Chula Vista Kosha, the Kosha out in Chula Vista. And it's at my apartment. And for 1 year, we've had services there. For 1 year, there's prayer services that take place. For a whole year, it's continued. And I'm so incredibly grateful to Kami-sama for that. And I always look forward to it and I struggled with the service. But this was my way of wanting to become closer to Kami-sama and sharing this faith. And 8 o'clock is a really great time to have church services, let me tell you. Because there are people popping in left and right, left and right, left and right. compared to 11 o'clock in the morning, there's no people popping in anywhere too much. But 8 o'clock at night is a really great time to have a service. People are just popping in all the time. And I should just turn services to 8 o'clock service here, but I won't do that. But it's always been great. And it's always been on a Wednesday. It continues all the way to Wednesday. It's on a Wednesday. The Getsuri side, the Chirabesa portion is always on a Wednesday. And I always kept that. I felt that was so important to me. I may have a doctor's appointment, I have something else, but I always made sure that it was always the service happened on that Wednesday. And this was my commitment to Kami-sama in sharing this faith with other people and preparing and becoming closer with Kami-sama. This year as well, I began the process of getting reevaluated for my adult ADHD. Because I knew I would need the medication. I went through that process and I'm finally on my medication. I found a wonderful psychologist who evaluated me, found a wonderful psychiatrist who worked with me on finding the right, we're actually in the process of finding the right, not formula, but writing the how much of what milligrams I'm going to be taking. We're still in that process of finding what works for me. But I knew that if without the medication, I wouldn't be effective. And I found myself, when I take medication, I don't know if you all remember the founder's teaching, Inorekusure, which means, you pray before you take your medication. I always pray before I take my medication. I take Oshinmai with my medication because I believe it's important. And this medication has really helped me a great deal to focus and to help me organize and to get past what the psychologists called an impasse. I knew I had to take care of me. This year as well, I had to go home I've never flown home to Hawaii this often. It's crazy how often I've flown back to Hawaii this year in order to care for my parents. And I thought, what a wonderful blessing it is. Kami-sama has blessed me. And let me share with you how Kami-sama has blessed me. During the pandemic, the height of pandemic, I almost lost my job, and I went from a almost full-time job back to a part-time position. So literally my paycheck was cut by 30%. I had no clue how I was going to survive. By the grace of Kami-sama, truly by the grace of Kami-sama, financially, I survived. I survived while taking care of this church, as well as a second church. I survived by being able to travel to certain places where I needed to travel to. Gas was kind of low at that time, but in this time of high gas prices, I still continued to travel to continue to do services at Whittier, even when gas prices were high. Just the other day, I was at the Honolulu church. I did Otodoke with Reverend Koichi Konko, and I shared with him, I don't know how I did it. I don't even know how I managed throughout the year. I don't know how I'm able to manage 2 different churches, to care for 2 different churches, and be able to fly home every break that I have. And this church, the North American Diocese has been giving out a stipend to churches because of the pandemic, and I've constantly declined it. Because we were not, when you read the description of what that money is for, pandemic money is for, we don't fit in that category at all. And I would find it to be a disgrace and dishonorable if we were to accept that money. Besides, we don't have a checking account, so we can't accept it anyway. But that's okay. That's another story. And we haven't. We don't have the situation that other churches have had. In fact, and when I first got here, we didn't have much in terms of osonai or offerings. And this year, I can't believe it, but since I've arrived, this year has just been abundant in offerings, in osonai. And it's by people who have been so generous and thoughtful, and it's and giving, and this has nothing to do with me. It's all about Kami-sama. Kami-sama helping this church. Kami-sama helping people to realize the blessings around them and granting them the favor that they ask for. And I was sharing this with Koichi Sensei. I said, Koichi Sensei, in the 4 years, in fact, December 29th makes 4 years since I moved here to San Diego. In the 4 years since I've been here, well, 3, let's say 3 overall, 99, 19, 20, 21, 4 years that I've been here. This is the first year that this church has been so blessed. It's not a whole lot. I wish it was $1 million, but it's not $1 million. But we're so blessed. And every month we're able to have offerings to Kami-sama. When I first got here, I was told, oh, Todd Sensei, you don't need to have offerings. We just have fruit and vegetables. That's good enough. And I felt so sorry. I felt bad for Kami-sama, the Mitama-sama. Like, gosh, that's such minimal thinking. Why? I questioned myself and I said, no. Oh, hell no. That's not happening, not under my watch. And I'm so grateful. It is through the grace of Kami-sama. It truly is. And I told them, I reflect, like, I don't even know how I survived this year. I do not know. My body is tired. And yet I feel so grateful. I have so much gratitude in my heart that I want to do more, but I know I don't have the ability to do more. I have to work within my means. This reflection it continues to trickle down. And for next year, I look forward to new challenges. I would never have said that in before. This is the first year I can say, upon the constant reflections, knowing that I am prayed for, knowing you need to realize that you're prayed for, that anything can happen. And I'm looking forward to not just new challenges, new ways to express my gratitude to Kami-sama, new ways to share this faith with other people. I look forward to traveling across the border again. I look forward to my time with my parents, that weakoko, that filial piety, so that I can continue to come closer and make sure that they're cared for. I know by caring for them, Kami-sama cares for them as well. So I hope all of you were able to take this month and reflect. Reflect on your journey of faith, your relationships with other people, your relationship with Kami-sama. How can you deepen that? How can you strengthen that? How can it become more intimate? I have a cousin this year, he passed away. His name is George Greenhouse. And I'll never forget, we were at some dinner. I can't remember what it was. And we were talking about faith. And I picked him up, I think it was a dinner or something. I can't remember. But I just remember this dialogue I had with him. And it was, the founder always said to always have an endless string of goals. That faith is endless. That even for Kyoso-sama, for the source of teachings, he was constantly developing himself, constantly finding ways to strengthen his relationship with Kami-sama. It was never, I'm content with my faith. That's it. This is all good. That's all it is. There's so many people out there who are just content with their faith. And Kyoso-sama was a living example of someone who was not, who truly believed that there is more. This is that jitsui teine, sincerity and conscientiousness. Kyoso-sama himself. And my cousin, in this conversation we had about faith, he said, oh, I'm satisfied with my faith. It doesn't have to develop. I'm good enough. I don't have to do any more. And I was shocked. I was a minister at that time, and I was shocked. And because I know what the teachings say, I know the living examples of faith, and I was shocked. Like, are you sure about that? I asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'm absolutely sure. It would be many years later, in fact, a year or two ago, he wrote an article, and he said, I realized my faith was not deep enough. If it wasn't for this heart attack, I didn't realize that how unprepared I was. And he needed to continue his development of faith. And it was so funny because in preparation for his funeral, I got to speak to my aunt, his beautiful wife, Geraldine, and we talked, and she said, Uncle is incredible. In the last few years of his life, he kept developing his faith. And then he started preparing for his own death. Let me tell you, Toddy, he had everything he wanted you to read off. He had everything he wanted me to read off. He had everybody he wanted to come. He had everything planned out. He knew exactly what he wanted. I was so impressed that his faith had taken him to that level. I remember calling him in the hospital and saying, "Oh, old man." That's my joke with him. Old man. And he said, "Who are you calling old man? Who are you talking to?" And we bantered, because we banter from, we're cousins. He was just 80. I'm only 36. But to know that his faith had developed from one where it was stagnant to this level of, and believe me, I'm not even at this level yet. He was okay with that. That he had prepared his own funeral and things he wanted to say. Whew. I know I'm not there yet. And this is where I want to continue this journey. So to all of you, you have one more day to reflect. And then I hope you'll put into implementation one act, one simple act. I know there's someone out there who's watching today who has put in a simple act, something that he's continued to do since our last 30 days training period. Well, what's the next step? What is the next step? And that's one that I know I'm struggling with just a little bit. But I'm looking forward to what my next step is going to be. And that's for next year. And hopefully next year at this exact same time, I'll be able to share with you what my next steps were. My reflection of my faith and what has happened this year. And with a smile, I say thank you to Kami-sama for everything that's happened this year. For allowing me to care for my parents. For allowing me to care for 2 different churches. For allowing me the opportunity to cross the border. For allowing me to be able to service the mitama of this church, hopefully properly. I don't know what 2023 holds, but I intend to continue this process of reflection, and I hope you will too. So thank you very much for attending today's service. Just a few announcements. So tomorrow's service is our New Year's service that will again be at 11 o'clock. I'll be here for a little late because I'm going to be cleaning up and preparing for tomorrow's service. Also, for those of you who would like to participate in the Konko Church of Ginza's Kotonoha, the Tamaguchi of Words project. If you aren't able to print anything out, or if you want me to, you can send something via email. I will write it out for you on the Kotonoha paperwork, and I will send it off on the 3rd. So that's due on the 3rd. The Ginza Church, which is like our older sibling church, like one of our older sibling churches, has welcomed all of us, whether you're from part of the Tamamuzu family or not part of the Tamamuzu family, welcomed all of us to participate in this. Write whatever you want, your prayers, your wishes, apologies, appreciation, whatever you wish, please write it and send it to me. If you are able to print out and you can email it to me somehow or take a picture of it and email it to me, I will send all of that at one time to Reverend Koichi Yukawa, who's the head minister of the Ginza Church. So it's a very big event, and as soon as I get the link for the 100th anniversary, I will send that to all of you, so you can all as well participate in that service as well. But I look forward to next year. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Beautiful faces, whether you come to church or you're joining us online. I look forward to seeing all of you. But until then, please stay safe. Please take care. And ahui ho. Want to say bye?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, Midori doesn't want to say bye-bye. Sorry, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, Midori said bye-bye.